Oh my gosh, we're live. Hi. Hi, everybody. All right. I've got Michelle Zhu on the line with us, and I just have to share my screen to bring us over. If you are watching in the chat, please say hi. Let us know where you are. We really love to know. I'm looking at the camera, but my camera's here. We really love to know where you are and how we're helping you. What do you want to know? Why you came here? How did you find us? Tell us everything about you. We'll take your parents' maiden names and social insurance numbers if you want to leave those as well. Just kidding. But we're so glad that you're here. This is our first YouTube live, so please forgive us if we do run into any technical errors. It is definitely bound to happen. We got Rochelle from Kamloops. Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see some familiar faces. All right. Yeah, I guess without further ado, we got Mabel in the room too. She's laying. You can kind of see her lump. Where's my hand? Right here. Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah. So this is our first live stream on YouTube, direct to YouTube. So we're still trying to figure out a couple of our technical details, but we got Michelle Zhu also on the call. And you guys are here for one reason. I've announced that we're making a short. And we're making a short. So we want to show you how easy it is to make your own short because we want to see more independent animation out in the world, but we also want to teach professional skills. So how do we combine the two? And this was kind of our answer. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen, but I'll bring in, let me think how I want to do this. Michelle, do I want to bring you in first, or do I want to introduce the main character first?
Yeah, we can me first, I guess, and
Yeah.
then we can move on.
Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. All right. I'm going to make you the bigger camera.
Oh, no.
Now you're in.
Camera.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. So one of the things we might we are not quite sure about the latency and the lag. So if anybody in the chat wants to tell us how that's going, please let us know. If we're, I don't know, when I look at it, I see myself lagging. So this is my biggest fear. But I think our microphones are fine. Oh my gosh, we got somebody as far as the UK. Very cool. Mo's here. Awesome. I'm looking real quick. Aaron, hello. Looks pretty laggy on your side. It's lagging a little. Okay, so we're gonna have to figure out the lag. So today we'll deal with the lag, but luckily with drawing, the lag should be it shouldn't be too bad. All right, Michelle, hi. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Can everyone hear me okay?
Can everybody hear Michelle all right? Michelle coming in? Audio's working, so we do hear you.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
When we
I think when we started, I can turn off my main camera and just show the screen, so it probably like eliminates the movement. But yeah, it's pretty laggy.
We're all good. It's all good. All right. So, Michelle, do you want to, I guess we didn't ask you to rehearse this, but do you really quickly want to tell everybody a little bit about your experience and maybe why I asked you to help me out here?
Oh, yeah. For about just a little bit over 10 years. And I started, I say, as a background artist, and then just keep being on different shows. And then what did I do?
We worked together.
After a while, I started supervising, and then after a little bit, I became an art director for now been art directing for 2 different shows now. So yeah, 10 years of my life in a nutshell.
Yeah, we started working together on my first job. I don't know. I don't think it was your first job. I think you were working before I started working, but we worked together at Atomic Cartoons on Transformers Rescue Bots. That was my first show. And I think you were on the design team way back then.
Rescue Bot. I think we met on Pirate Express.
Did you not work on Transformers? Were you not on that?
No.
Oh, okay. Then it must have been Pirates. That would have been the one after.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe if I turn off my camera, it might be better.
Yeah, turn off your camera. And I'm going to switch over real quick to introduce our main character. All right. So I've got another image that should pop up. All right. So this is our main character. I hope that you can see it. It just jumped to the wrong picture, but that's all right. All right, so this is our main character. This little dude does not have a name, so this is something that we're gonna have to figure out and correct. But this little pea needs a name, and so Eat Your Peas is really all about all the words that start with P, and this is a concept that my good friend Mike Morris, who's I met working through Toon Boom, we went to the Salt Lake City, Utah Animation Festival, which is called From Sketch to Screen. And I went for a meeting, and I took a meeting, and I came back to the table, and the table was full of these drawings. So Mike Morris graciously just spent 2 hours drawing peas and everything that we could come up with. So Eat Your Peas stands for persistence, patience, practice, pride, purpose, planning, panicking, pausing, performance, passion, planning, prevention, perfection. It also stands for process, production, projects. There's another one that I'm missing. There's so many P's. There's so many P words. Anyway, so we loved this. We love this so much. So we are accepting. We are going to be kind of coming up with a contest because we need to name this little character. He's so cute. So let me run through some of the pictures real quick because this character, what we noticed was everybody was starting to drop by and they wanted to start drawing this P with us, and we realized that this character is very easily replicatable, and we really liked that. It was very inviting to keep drawing, and so we wanted to create a project where we could basically set the style and the tone, but also give it what do you call it? Something that was like very easy and capable for other people to join in on. So this is really going to become a very big collaborative project that we hope that people want to join in on. So our P here has a ton of little references, and tomorrow we're actually going to be having a call in our normal fashion. So this will be through our Discord. So I'll send a link once we get started so that you can join us in those calls with Mike Morris. He's going to give us a little bit more about his thought process, what was going through his mind while he was sitting at that table by himself. Oh, was that the end of my, that might be the end of my, let me go the other way. Let me go the other way. Let me see. All right, we got this guy, and coming up is one of my favorite pictures from this little P. All right, not only this one, but this one right here is my favorite image about the P. So we're going to be cleaning that up today, and I'm going to stop sharing this. And then Michelle, if you want to pull up your, or actually I can, you already have it pulled up. So here we go. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll drop the link into the Discord or into the chat here. If anybody wants to join us, we are going to be starting tomorrow with Mike Morris. We're going to be doing step 1. So we've turned this into a 10-step process. However, there's certain things that we can't do in 10 hours. So over the course of the next 2 months, we will be basically creating this short live in front of you in our courses. The turnaround we wanted to make sure got done, and the rig we have to make sure gets done. And we all know rigging is a much longer process. So we will be continuing these live YouTube demos with our rigging process. We're going to be bringing the rig along back. So if you have any interest in rigging, feel free to join us while we rig live for you once again and in real time, because we think that's really important in the learning process. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fix them up because even professionals have to go back and make adjustments. It's just part of the process, which is my favorite P. So we're calling this Easy Peasy Productions because we want you to also be able to make your own production, and we want you to think that it's easy peasy once you know how to put all those pieces together. So over the course of the next 2 months, we're going to be bringing in people. We're going to be creating the character. We're going to be creating the world. We're going to be showing you the storyboard. Today, we're just meeting the characters. So you're going to have to stay tuned for the actual short, what the actual short is. But that will be coming up in the next 2 weeks. So you're also going to meet our animation director, who is who's going to be showing you what kind of animation style is with this short. And then we're also going to be teaching you how to hit that animation style. So if you were working on a show in a production, if you were working for a studio, these are all of the things that you would want to know. So we're trying to bring that knowledge to you guys out in the open so that when you get your first job, you understand what's going on a little bit more. Pipeline, that's the other P that I couldn't think of earlier, because we're going to be teaching you pipeline projects. So Michelle, without further ado, because I've definitely spoken a lot, would you like to take it away?
Yeah, I think I've been just trying to draw on the canvas. It looks like it's pretty slow. Maybe Lindsay, you have to like turn off your camera and make it faster.
I don't know if I can turn off my camera. If I turn off my camera, I think the stream ends.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just go slow then. Sorry, guys. It's our first first test for this whole production. So bear with us. Sorry about that. Also, let me know if it's starting to get too laggy and my audio stops. Yeah, we can figure that out together. Yeah, we can get started. So what you're looking at right now, it's usually what you get from starting of a production. This is like a rotation sheet, and this is a template that we use to set up, do character rotations. What program am I drawing with? It's Photoshop. I think it's yeah, Photoshop. It's industry standard, so unfortunately we have to stand with it until other things come out. So yeah, where was I?
You were describing the design sheet, or what's a standard?
Yeah, this is like a pretty standard design sheet. So if you start doing your as like a designer on a show, we usually put the main character as a size reference, and you can see it's the carrot guy. Is he even a name too?
The carrot's name is actually Cadence. The Cadence, the character. It's a carrot pun.
Cadence the character. Okay. So we got Caden here, and usually the main character is I would put him here for a size reference, and then we can like see where our like how tall our PB is and how big we want to make him and all that. And I just this is just a layer of like some lines that I added to begin with. So usually you want to start a character sheet, you just want to like label everything properly. So now we're just gonna go keep going P. It's P for now. And then artist, that would be my name, and that would be the date. What's the date?
Yeah, today's the 8th.
Of these in here, and then versions are pretty important. If you don't fill up anything, just remember the version, because sometimes we have so many versions, then we don't know which one's the latest. So the date and the versions are pretty important. And just make sure that you keep everything labeled. It's easier if you're gonna hand it off to someone else, and then yeah, they can pick it up of your work from that. Yeah. I must call this. Should I call it?
Don't forget to add your name.
Ah, right. I forget things. I think most of the time the initial is good enough. Yeah. So when we begin to clean up a character, let's look at what we have in the beginning. If my screen can load a little bit faster, that would be helpful. So right now I got this character sheet, and then if you look at it, everything it's like really nice and cute, but they're not cleaned up yet. So what you wanted to do is to choose a pose that you can pretty much see everything, which is this guy. So I just take him out of the lineups. And anytime now. This guy, he has some. We see his full frontal and he's got eyebrows and eyes and all the legs, so he is pretty good for the size. Oops. And how big is he, Lindsay?
Man, you're telling me too. We're figuring this out together. The carrot is its rig. And so going from I mean, let's go cute. What's the cutest? I think it's a little too big right there, right? Maybe do you think the bow tie? Like
He's that big.
Do you think he's a little smaller?
He's like an actual pea size.
I don't know, not the size of the bow tie, but a little smaller. I think he's like there.
Yeah.
Like sidekick minion.
Okay.
So what your side like from your character knowledge too, but for a lineup perspective, I mean, we definitely want to go with something that's going to give us interest, shape language.
Yeah, I think he can be any size if you want him to be. If we're thinking for like a storyboard or camera perspective, you don't want them to be too extreme with different sizes. It's hard to fit them both in the same frame. But yeah, he could be any size you want. I think this is pretty good size. He's pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
Hair's pretty big. Yeah, so I think we can start with this. How he is. Is it aggressive enough? Right now I'll press the canvas a bit so everything's more crisp.
Yeah, the lines that are in the parrot character are the thickness of the lines of the rig. So we can stick with that line thickness for the P, and we'll be able to match it.
I think the stream kind of soft.
I see it, unless you're drawing something and I can't see it.
Oh, I'm just checking on the live YouTube. Okay, there you go. It's back for me now. Okay, so yeah, this is the character front face and view that we're starting. I'm just gonna turn his opacity down a little bit. So just enough that we can see him. And then line thickness is important when we get to clean up. But right now, we're just trying to make him as straight as possible. So we're just gonna do like a rough pass on him. And since he's like completely circular, so it's easier for everyone. I am just going here and grab my ellipse tool and then make a ball. And then when it's too slow, my brain is slow too. And then I'm just gonna fill it in with a little bit of thickness of the line and then line him up. So he's pretty much just circular. Yeah. We're just doing a rough right now. Don't have to worry about the thickness yet. And how do you do the eyes? Okay. It's always good to cross-reference with the character that is already cleaned up, and you can see like what is the show style. And right now we see Carrot's eye pupil that around the white area. There's no line. So just this is only white, so we're probably just gonna leave that part white, and then in the iris area, which one's the iris? The color part is the iris. So we can, if we zoom in, we can see that there's an outline right here for the pupil, and then this eye white area doesn't have any outline. So that is probably what we're gonna do with our P.
If it looks better with the line, we can change our character to have that outline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's see what's cutest, because if that aspect of the design isn't working for the character, for this project, for the next time we use the character, we can go in and make that change in the build.
Okay. So what? So
let's
right
go
now our
max cute.
Our character is pretty graphic. So it has like really crisp and clean lines, and the P So his mouth is pretty standard. You could just do like a smiley like this, or we can try a little bit of this. That's also cute too. I think I just play around and see how it is, as long as it matches like the character personality. See, it kind of looks like an M&M guy.
I like his little beak.
Yeah. Okay. And we can probably have that as like a default. But right now, I'm just trying to see like like fully frontal. So I want to make sure that the space between his eyes to his edges of his head is the same. Do it on the same. Also good to not draw everything on the same layer because you can like move things around. So it's just rough, so not much can go wrong. If you happen to draw it on the same layer, just try it again. Doesn't have to be like super perfect, but you need to breathe. They still look comfortable to the eyes. And kind of like everything in the center and middle. So yeah, you guys can come in here and draw the lines for the face. It's like a guideline that you set for yourself, and just make sure to follow it.
Yeah, I mean, what you're doing right now, I think we get a lot of questions about how do you know when to change the design? Like, how do you know when to take a design literally and when you should make corrections? And I think what you're doing right now really shows that when you're creating your concept designs, you know, when you're doing things rough, you could be off a little bit. And so when you're sharing artwork between professionals, we all have this version of in our head of like what something should be like. And right now you're building the front view and you're making sure that all these guides line up and that it's symmetrical essentially. And you're favoring that symmetry over the literal design. And I think that's just very valuable point right now to show and like to mention, because we get a lot of questions about this stage and like, how do you know something is clean?
Is the audio and video pause, is it fixed?
No, it's fixed. Yeah, they just have to refresh.
Oh, okay. All right. So, and also, if you, as a designer, if you're not sure that this looks okay, always check with your art director. It should be the person that can tell you like, oh, the eye should be bigger, or the lips could go a different direction. Yeah, sorry guys about the videos. I'll try to go a little more slower, so it might be less laggy. So now we got his face kind of down, and then we can add in the eyebrows. And there's a few different ways to go with the eyebrows. You can make it taper, you can make it round, you can make it with these like multiple lines. It's just a show style choice. So yeah, again, as a designer, you always want to go with what the if I go slow, my brain stops.
No,
yeah, you want to always make sure cross-reference check with your art director if you're ever unsure. Like, there's so many different ways to do a character, and also when you're doing cleanups, it's fun. Let's see if show those. Yeah. Before you move on to the legs, you can turn off the layer and then check, see if it looks good or cute. I think bringing the eyes a little more in be cuter. Also make everything rounder and bigger. It would be kind of interesting to think that tiny little bit you can change like the entire personality of a character.
I don't even know how you do it. This is not a skill that I have.
Yeah. Always make sure to go back to your reference and see if the personality is shining through. Probably too big. Right now, our eyeballs are too slanted, so I'm gonna straighten them a little bit so he looks less worried. Getting closer to what our character is looking like. Yeah, it's like small, tiny changes that can really change up the mood of the character and like the personality and character traits and all that. If you make the eyes a little more slanted, that makes him just look a little more worried. But he looks like a happy and cheerful character if we look at the character sheets. And he's also a little bit I think he has a lot of confidence too. Like if you look at some like posts like this and then a post like this, he's got his eyes squinting.
It shows a lot of focus. Yeah, a hard focus.
Yeah. So it kind of gives us like a hint of like what kind of kind of P he is. It might be a very confident P. So we definitely don't want to make him look like he's sad all the time. How's everything so far? Is everyone okay with given how laggy it is?
Well,
Sorry
we
about
probably shouldn't ask how they're doing with the lag because it's there. We can't fix it. I don't think we can fix it during the stream. I'm half taking notes, half trying to where is my phone actually? I think my phone. I think I left my phone on the outside of this room. I'm gonna Google and see. We've got everybody that's stuck with us is very patient, and we appreciate it. We'll just keep trucking. The audio's coming across fine, and yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let us know if it gets to like too choppy and you want us to stop for a bit. Then yeah. Okay, let's see. Now he has just like flat lines for his legs, arms, so and pretty much do this. Let's see. Where's at with his feet? It's also where you put the legs are also important too. Like if he's more of a what's it called? If he's like a standing taller kind of character, then his legs might be like more together in the center and then wider on the top. And if he's just like a regular kind of like a little boy, then his legs are probably more straight. And the spacing between the legs are important too, because you want to make sure that the center of gravity, the center of weight at the legs look like they can hold up the entire body. So he is probably like this, but a little bit closer. Thank you, other patients, here with us. So yeah, you can always like move the legs around to see which one that looks better to match the personality of the sketch. I think this is pretty good. So it's a rough, so we're gonna block it here for now. And the arms, you want to also make sure that the arms line up where the rough sketch is. So yeah, you can just draw a line and then find like the center point of where the arms comes down, and then just pretty much straight down for now. You can add curves, having a little bit of shoulder that sticks out, or we can have him like just stick out like that from body. It's always just personal preference and depends on the style.
So totally separate, but from a rigging perspective, and animation perspective, because if you design the character standing in like a less neutral pose, then that less neutral pose tends to show up in your production because animators won't make the changes necessary. So I prefer the arm looking straight. I might like the curved shoulder, but I don't know quite what that looks like. But the arm that sticks out like 45-degree angle, I would avoid that. And even we used to say like you want to design T poses. T poses really disappeared because I think that that extra step in the posing process is sometimes unnecessary from a rig perspective, because it also creates unnatural shapes in a body, and so then we build those unnatural shapes, and then you have to fight the build to make your character look natural.
Yeah. Sounds good. We'll keep him straight down.
But I don't know what the shoulder curve looks like. Can we see what that looks like? Just out of curiosity. Like if you add a little shoulder curve to that, what is that?
It will just sticks out like a little bit.
Well, which one do you think, Michelle? You're the character.
I like him straight down, but it might. I don't know how flexible is he. Would it limit like his bendability with his arms?
I don't know. I think the straight will be fine, because we are gonna, when we do rig this character, we are gonna be able to break it into upper arm and lower arm, and that curve might get in the way, because then we have to uncurve it. So let's do no curve.
Okay, sounds good. And then yeah, you just find the point where the arm is, and then just have it straight down. But make sure that it's attached to the body. So, yeah, something like that. And then let's go with fingies. How many fingies? 4. 4 is usually a cute number, and there's a fun fact why you have 4 fingers instead of 5. Or most of the cartoons, as back in the days when they're drawing like frame by frame, they just decided like, oh, it's too much to draw. And 4 looks about the same as 3, so as 5, so they just kind of cut it.
I've always wondered that, actually.
Yeah, that was kind of, I wonder it too. I was like, why is it 4 fingers instead of 5? And they're like, oh, it's because we're lazy. Not lazy, it's good for production because it's faster and it looks about the same.
I know for the fingers and the hands, we wanted to go for something really simple. And we really liked this line inky feel. And so we kind of started to describe them as the frog-like fingers. And so that's kind of what, with like the little tips or the little bubbles on the tips, and that like we thought that would be just fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cute. I can keep it there. Definitely. And then can add a bit, like a slightly thicker top on the line, and then taper it down a little bit. Make it less like make it more organic. It's like tiny little bits of things that you add to the character will come together and make it more lively. Yeah. So this is probably, just make sure that whatever rule that you set for this character, just apply it to all the limbs. Does he have toenails, toes, or is he just like?
I don't know. I guess it'd be like the same as the fingers, but like they're smaller.
Yeah, so like 3 probably.
Yeah.
Do 3. It's like a frog M&M. Kind of cute. Little froggy. So yeah, this is probably like B1.
That looks good. Yeah. He's so funny. Can I get you to do one thing for me with the mouth?
Yeah.
If we were to make another layer, because don't get rid of this mouth, undo this mouth. But if we were to make another layer, for the you know how the curves are kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but the curves are kind of pointing up. Can we see what it looks like if the curves are pointing down, but keep the beak, like keep the beak idea? I'm debating because I know rigging that mouth. I know what it means. I don't know if the distance, if the no, like I feel like you've gotten rid of the curve now, but if we made it more curving in the style of like a smile, does that make sense? Am I saying that correct? Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Can I don't know if you can flip, if we could flip through these.
Yeah, we can. Just turn it on and off, and then go. I think the curving up one make him look more like a bird. This one make him look more like a frog.
Okay, what about if we just got rid of the curve and then we'll bring the curve in to, like, when we do expressions, we can bring the curve in.
Yeah.
And maybe just a little less pointy so that it's not so.
Yeah. That's why it's good to have to bounce ideas back and forth with your workers or whoever that's in charge.
I think that's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have what does everybody in the chat say? Do you think that's a good front view? We've got some hearts and chats and like, you know, some hundreds and celebrations. So I think we're good. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to move on.
Did I miss any questions? Anyone has any questions?
We did have a question about the T poses, but I can jump back into that one.
Oh, okay.
Do we have to change the line thickness for the outline, or is that?
This is just a rough.
Okay.
So yeah, we can fix anything when we're doing cleanup.
Okay.
So not a lot of people know, but cleanup is actually more important than me, at least. I think cleanup pretty much dictates like how the character is. So cleanup is very important. It's even more important than rough for me. So this is what I would do. I'm just gonna name it front. It's like a front pose, and then I'm gonna duplicate it, and then I'll make it a back because that's easiest. And then you just line these two baby up.
I love this when we get to this stage and it's just easy.
Yeah. Once we have like, once we, what is it called? As our rules figured out and we know our limits and everything, it's easier to follow. So what I'm coming to here is just take out his face. No longer a face. And then now what I do is to just flip him the other way. These legs come down this, and then this is where the ball of his ankle sits. And then the back view of, let me see, do I want him to face? Yeah. And let me
While you're doing that, I'm going to address the question. It's not necessarily that we're not doing T poses anymore. This is kind of what Samantha is asking.
Okay.
It's T poses are important because it shows the. I think T poses is more important for 3D characters. In 2D, if we pose a character in the T pose, I don't know if the lag is going to allow. Here we go. It's gonna upload in a minute. But like if you build a character like this and then you rotate the arms down, this just creates a lot of extra work for artists in general. And it can create some unnatural looking poses in the shoulder. So you really like if you're gonna rig your character like this, you really need to know how those shoulders are going to look when your character is neutral. So I think over the years, we've just slowly stopped posing characters in the T pose because it doesn't always look great. It doesn't translate well into that neutral pose. So we try to rig the characters in as close to what that neutral pose would be for the animators because posing is such a crucial step. So if we can pose something that's half done for an animator, it makes their job half easy. It creates a little bit of a shortcut for them. Now, that being said, any neutral position shouldn't be the final position. Like you want your character to come to life, but at the same time, if your character is just standing there on screen, like we're going to be building this character exactly the way that Michelle gives it to us. So this little neutral P that I'm looking at here, it's like you can see that there's a pensiveness in the face. We can see the character's personality shining through, and we can see that it's going to be very expressive. But in a scene where the character might be like if I don't need you to flip back to those actually I can flip back to that thing really quickly. I'll do it. Right here, we can see that the character can, depending on the facial expression, depending on what they're doing, the pose that we're building is going to be inappropriate. So we always are looking for the shortcut, I guess, to provide that to the animators. And so the A pose, the T poses have just really faded away so that we give the animators something as neutral as possible so they can fill their scene with whatever. I hope that explains it. I think that'll explain it. Yeah. Oh, Michelle, those feet are adorable. They look like, they look like barefoot. They just look like bare feet. Like I'm looking at my feet right now. I'm not wearing socks, and that's what they look like.
One thing about designing the backside of the feet. So that's why I have these two side by side right now. Like as you can see, like this one is probably the one on the right is probably more what's it called? Atomically correct.
Yeah.
That has like an ankle in the back, like all the foot, and then the top part of the foot. But it doesn't look right to our character. Like you just have to kind of like go back and forth and see what works with the character because this whole leg is gonna be black, so it's really you probably want to have like more negative space to show that like what everything is and where everything is. And
I think it visually more appealing.
Yeah.
Like if I had to rig one of those, like I'm thinking about how to rig the anatomically correct foot, and I just see triangles. Whereas the other one has got a couple more like loops and dips in the artwork, and I think it's visually more appealing.
Yeah, and I think that probably works better with the frog-like character.
Yeah. So adding deformers to these feet will be a lot of fun. We'll be able to keep simple deformers in the feet.
So we'll keep this one right for now, and then we can always fix it and clean up. talk about like limitations and like also like if you look at it right now, they're not really like the exact angle, but that's also sometimes it's okay to not have them like exactly correct. It depends like how the character is gonna look. Does it make sense? Like it doesn't need to be that technically correct, but it needs to feel like it's the same character. That makes sense. And then the arms, it's also gonna be just black, so it's I feel like we're okay to just leave it the way it is. But Lindsay, do you need more like?
No, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, then that's our back now. It's kind of cute. And then I usually go and do a side view first before like a 3/4, put it back, that. Now this is when you need to kind of like line things up. This is where you put the eyeballs and then the lip. Just draw a few lines and then it's where pretty much where things are gonna be at. And there's the middle of that. Our character is really simple. So if you're not talking and lagging like I am, it's going to be very fast.
Oh, here's a big question. This is something that we're gonna have to figure out. Do the eyebrows cut? Does everything cut from the face when it disappears, or do they pop off?
I kind of like it pop off.
I kind of like it pop off too. I like the eyebrow popping off. What is it in the concepts? Can we get a quick? Does he? Yeah, he pops off. The eyebrows on the top, passion at the top pops off.
Oh, okay,
yeah. And then we can do it with the eyebrow, like eyelids and eyebrows as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always good to like go back and check the initial what are these? These are just like rough designs, and to see like what you can add to the personality. Sometimes the eyebrow disappear too, so that's funny. Or is it okay using it as like the hood of the eye?
Yeah, the hood. I like it when we create hoods that pop off the character. Like I find that it just creates like that extra dimension of a shape instead of just like cutting to the shape. We'll figure out something with the eyeballs, but it's a lot of fun. I find it's a lot more fun to have that extra layer. Cutting is like a trick, but making something look good when it's coming off a shape is also a skill. We did have a question too about the feet. And then maybe you'd be able to repeat this, but when you're doing a turnaround, how are the feet supposed to look facing away? And how do you line up the feet with the front view? And I feel like you said that, but maybe you could repeat it one more time just in case.
Yeah, so I think for a 2D character perspective, it's a little more forgiving because it's mostly about like the personality of the character. It doesn't have to be like a 3D or like a layout, like it's 1-to-1. You want to make it line it up as much as possible, but at the end of the day, depending on the character, like if I have a feet that is kind of like this, this is like the ball of the at the ankle, and then there's the top, and then there's the toes, big toe. Toe, little toe, another toe, another toe, I'll give it another toe. So, or something that's more anatomically correct. Sorry, it's just like a really rough beat. And if you do the back of it,
I'm imagining this pea with like some crazy legs.
Yeah, for me. So yeah, if you have this set of legs, it will be more clear where you put things. So comes down here, and that this is where you line the ball of the foot, like that's where that other the triangle is, and then you come here like the front, the top part of it, and then you just have like a little oops. There's one way of doing this, which is a different kind of like slightly different perspective, as we see this like top down, and then we kind of see this like straight. We could, there's like a few different ways to do it. I think it's mostly like, does it look good on a character? Does it look convincing?
Yeah, if it was, I mean, yeah, and I think what you're doing right now too is you're like sticking to an anatomically correct foot.
Yeah. Sure.
And you did that too when you did the original design, but like you did the anatomical foot, and then you brought that anatomy and played with that so that it matched the character and the perspective or the personality.
I think it's like as long as like everything you created within this guideline, you can move it around according to your character. Does it make sense?
Yes, and so there's another I see the connection between the question and the drawing right now, because we just got a new comment that says, so facing away, the feet stay above the line. And I think what's important, because I hear we talk about this foot line all the time, and so every artist is going to respect the line in their own way. And so I think what's important is that as an artist, you find how this line relates to your work, and then you stick with it fully. So Michelle is using the line as the base, but in the front view, the heel's a little bit off. In the original P concept, not these new feet designs, the heel's a little bit off. But in the back view, what she's done is you've matched where the heel is. Like it comes down a little bit, but the character doesn't look like it's floating, but the character's foot is also floating just enough above that it doesn't really look like the character's going up and down. Whereas the new anatomy foot, you've done a much better job of like keeping the heel directly on the line. And so I think that that's just a practice. Like what you do with the heel has to remain consistent.
Yeah, we can also like fix that and clean up too. it's if it doesn't look right, if you flip it back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
you're good to go. I think you're good to keep going. Yeah, we got hearts.
I think
Woohoo.
my screen stopped sharing, is it?
No, I still see you.
Yeah. Okay.
Discord will make it look like your screen has stopped sharing.
I'm looking at the YouTube link.
Hmm.
Can everyone see me with my monitor, or is it gone?
No, I can still see you with your monitor.
Okay. My screen is not showing. See?
Oh, I see it now. How do we fix this? Should
share again?
People, yeah, maybe reshare your screen and everybody else can maybe refresh.
Is it working?
Are you sharing your screen again?
Yeah, I'm sharing it on Discord.
Let's see. Okay, you're back for me. There we go. Okay, everybody back. I see it.
I think we only see you, Lindsay.
Oh, really? Because on my end, I see yours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I have no idea what happens if I refresh my screen.
Technology is failing us.
So you, Michelle, you don't see in the live stream, you don't see your screen, and I guess we're only seeing the webcam. All right. How do I do this? What do I do? Should I refresh?
You want to risk it? Risk it all?
Okay, we're gonna risk it.
Okay.
Oh, I think it's gonna end the stream. I wonder if it will restream. If we have to, we'll restream. So if anybody's we'll come back. We'll do this. We'll keep going. All right, let's see what happens what happens. I'm about to click this. So if it ends, just stay tuned, follow our channel, hit subscribe so that you see we'll come back.
Yeah, I'll try to come back. Give us like 10 minutes. If we're not back in 10 minutes, then like next time.
We'll be back.